What's going on, everyone? G-Spags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. It is about time to take a look at bows again, and bow scalars, as there has been some changes. Not even really sure when, to be honest with you. I generally don't check bow scalars every single update. It's the general consensus among many players that it occurred right around the time that Elemental Rumble came into the game. And there is a definite hierarchy change with bows now. Some people will love it, some people will hate it. But the highest damage bow now is, without a doubt, the Bow of the Phoenix. Phoenix Shot is going to be higher than anything else. But let's go through and look at these scalars individually. Now, first off, an honorable mention is definitely the single 4. The reason I say that, if you're a brand new player or just starting the game, you can pick up a single 4 shot type just off the ground in campaign mode. It does have a decent damage scaler. It's not going to compare to any of these other bows. However, it is going to be a good starter bow. Now, at the bottom of the bunch for DPS, we can start off with Double Shot and the Corrupted Bow. These are actually both exactly the same, and that is they have a damage scaler of 3.167 damage per second per point of hero damage. So, Double Shot and the Corrupted Bow will give you 3.167. Now, with that in mind, the Corrupted Bow is definitely my favorite. I think the shot type is just super cool on it. Plus, it innately pierces enemies, so you're going to be hitting 3 enemies at a time, which is a lot of value in itself. It's not going to do as much single target damage, but as far as lane clear, it is going to be hitting 3 enemies at a time, and that is just good stuff. Now, moving on along to the splash bows. Basically, we've got splash damage or an explosion that occurs at the detonation point, and this is the Coral Bow and the Gothic Longbow. These also are going to be both at the same at 3.544 DPS per point of hero damage. The benefit you get with these, of course, is it is an AoE burst. You see the Coral Bow's got the best graphic for sure. But you see that little explosion there, that is going to be AoE damage, so any enemies that are close together in that proximity, you can see it pretty well on the Gothic Longbow as well. Any enemies in that proximity are going to take the damage, so you see the explosion there that goes off when it hits. So this is another one that's a good lane clearer, but it is going to suffer as far as single target damage. Next up, you got the Tsunami with Jester Arrows. Now, Jester Arrows actually has a very nice damage scaler compared to everything else. It's actually just under the Earth Guardian's bow. The Tsunami is going to give you 3.749 DPS per point of hero damage. Now, the benefit you get with Jester Arrows is you get that pierce as well. It does have a kind of a wonky pattern with that vertical pattern on it. But this is going to pierce 5 enemies, and it's going to give you that pierce damage as well. Certainly a contender, and like I said, just barely under the Earth Guardian bow with the Jester at 3.749. The Earth Guardian bow is at 3.759. So lots of people have been using the Earth Guardian bow for a long time. It's still a solid choice. It does great damage. If you're using an Earth Guardian bow, there's no reason really to change it unless you're just hunting the absolute best single target damage. You're not going to notice a difference in time to kill on really anything in the game, from bosses to mobs. It's going to be very similar. It is slightly lower. And that comes around to the Phoenix Shot. Now, the Phoenix Shot used to be the exact same as Jester Arrows. It was at the 3.749 DPS per point of hero damage, and that changed at some point and is now doing a whopping 3.959 DPS per point of hero damage. Now remember, even from top to bottom, the lowest bow we got here is 3.16. The highest we got is 3.95. It's not a massive difference between them. The downside of the Phoenix bow is going to be that crazy slow projectile. You can actually outrun your arrows. You can run faster than they travel. So it does have a crazy slow projectile speed. Additional to that, a lot of people get tired of the eye bleed. And it does have a whole lot of eye bleed. But if you are looking for the top DPS bow, the Phoenix shot is going to give you that 3.959 DPS per point of hero damage. Now this, of course, is not including your shards or mods or anything else. It's what I'm using now, as you see. I'm using it with Focus Power, Drench Power, and Lucky Strikes. And then for shards, Stand Your Ground, Sundering Blow, and Bloody Strikes. Stand Your Ground is not right for everyone. If you can't stand still, and a lot of people just can't stand still, which is very understandable, you're going to get really close to the same amount of damage using Charged Shot. It's slightly above using Stand Your Ground. However, Charged Shot is still a fine choice on your bow, no doubt, particularly if you can't stand still and you like to run around. I like to run around, but I can stand still long enough to burn a boss or whatever I need to do. So I personally am using Stand Your Ground in that situation. And then we got the Crazy Mystery Bow. And the Crazy Mystery Bow is a Tsunami once again, but this time with Chlorophyte chip. Now, this has higher damage scaling than any other bow in the game. It's actually considerably higher than Bow of the Phoenix. It's the only bow that gives you over 4 DPS per point of hero damage. But the downside is you lose a mod slot, which at a 10 out of 10 would be 50%, which is not as good as Focus Power, Drench Power, or Lucky Strikes. So you've got a locked mod that is going to drag it under in performance to anything else. Now, anyone that has been playing around with Chlorophyte arrows, by all means, let me know what your trick is, because I would love to use that one. It's got a really cool shot, and then additionally, the projectiles bounce, which is pretty awesome as well. Getting projectiles bouncing around the map. I personally have not been able to get it to perform as well as my Earth Guardian or my Phoenix shot, but I would love to if that was an option. So I do suggest everyone check out the Chlorophyte chip on the Tsunami, as it does, like I said, it's got crazy high damage scaling, higher than any other bow in the game, but you lose some effectiveness with that locked mod. Like on the Hunter, for example, you're always going to have 2 cooldowns up. You've got your buff and you've got your pet. You're going to have these cooldowns up 100% of the time, not including any other cooldown that you can work into the mix, which means you're going to be getting a 60% increase of weapon damage, which is going to be better than the 50% from Chlorophyte arrows. Drenched, of course, is 70% by default, so that's going to be better than the 50%. And Lucky Strikes is just better than all of them, so that is going to net more than absolutely anything. But I think Chlorophyte arrows is definitely worth a look, y'all. It does a tremendous amount of damage, but I can't seem to get it to perform fully sharded and modded as well as a Phoenix shot or an Earth Guardian. So let me know what your favorite bow is. I actually really like the Bow of the Phoenix. You know, I play a lot of ARPGs. I love eye bleed, and I love that the Bow of the Phoenix gives you eye bleed. The only negative to me personally is that run speed. The projectile speed is just so slow. When you can outrun your projectiles, you know, it's just, you know, come on. You shouldn't be able to outrun your projectiles, right? But it just got a tremendously slow projectile speed. And that is really the only negative about it. It looks cool. It's pretty relatively easy to farm. I say that as someone who's killed the stupid bird on Ember Mount about 1,000 times. So, yeah. I ended up, I had a tough time farming a polearm for my monk back in the day, and ended up collecting several of these that I wasn't looking for at the time on the journey to get myself my monk polearm. So I just kind of got one by default from grinding out the other weapons. But yeah, Ember Mount, kill the big bird, and that is going to be the way. These, of course, these boss weapons only drop Chaos 8 or higher, and the higher the difficulty, the higher chance. You've only got a small chance of having one of the special Ember Mount weapons to drop on Chaos 8. You've got a slightly higher chance on 9, and then you're always going to get one on 10, but you never know what it's going to be. So it is an RNG grind without a doubt. However, you also get a bunch of clusters for doing that map. So you get the benefit of a cluster farm to give you lots of clusters en route to getting yourself your Phoenix Bow. But hopefully that clears some things up. Phoenix Bow for the win in 2025 and 2026, without a doubt. But thanks a ton for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.